What do you do when the man who started it all can no longer remember any of it? Phil Robertson, the grizzly-bearded patriarch who helped make Duck Dynasty a household name, passed away in May. But long before the headlines and tributes, his quiet fade from the spotlight was already underway. And in the first emotional episode of Duck Dynasty, The Revival, fans were left in tears as the family paid tribute to the man whose spirit shaped the show. But what really happened in Phil's final days? And why was he missing from the revival until the very end? Let's go back to where it all began and how it all ended. Phil's health had been a private battle, one the family kept close to the chest. For years, he had been dealing with Alzheimer's. At first, it was subtle, a missed name, a forgotten story, but it didn't take long for the disease to take over. Corey Robertson, Phil's daughter-in-law and wife to Willie, shared a painful truth. The man they all leaned on, the storyteller, the leader, the force behind the duck call empire, was slowly disappearing. She described him as a shell of his former self. Words that cut deep, even for those hearing them from the outside. By the time the revival was being filmed, Phil had stopped talking much. He would mumble familiar phrases like "full steam ahead," but even then, it was hard to tell if he understood what he was saying. Still, those moments, they meant everything. Because even in confusion, Phil had presence. Fans tuning in for the revival noticed something was off. Where was Phil? Why wasn't he front and center? Behind the scenes, the family had already made the painful decision. Phil wasn't going to be on camera. He couldn't be. He was too far gone, not just physically, but mentally. According to Corey, filming around him felt wrong, not because he wasn't loved, but because he deserved dignity, privacy, peace. He was still their patriarch, but in a different way now, in memory, in spirit, in silence. Then came the moment no one was ready for. In the premiere episode of Duck Dynasty The Revival, Willie sits in the living room, laptop open. He turns and asks his dad what he thinks. The camera cuts, and there he is, Phil, smiling, nodding, giving a thumbs up, no dialogue, no setup, just a single powerful second before the screen fades to black. It was his goodbye, and it was perfect. Because sometimes the strongest message is the one that doesn't need words. Before Phil passed, Corey gave an interview that peeled back the curtain on what the family was really going through. She didn't sugarcoat it. Phil was slipping away fast, and while the outside world was wondering where he'd gone, the Robertsons were quietly grieving someone who was still alive. "We knew he wasn't going to be around for much longer," Corey admitted. "We just wanted to make him feel comfortable, make him feel loved. That wasn't easy. Watching the strongest person you know fade into confusion never is, but they gave him what he gave them all along: family, faith, and fierce love. Phil was the foundation, but now the family had to keep building without him." Willie, who'd long taken the reins, announced he was stepping down. Retirement, a word that meant more than just leaving the company. It meant the end of a dynasty era. Now, the next generation is rising. Phil's children and grandchildren are stepping into the spotlight, not to be him, but to honor him, and to keep what he built alive. The revival show is more than just a reunion, it's a transition, a passing of the torch. The duck call may still echo, but it's a new voice behind the call now. Even without Phil's presence, the heart of Duck Dynasty hasn't changed. It's still about family dinners, faith-filled conversations, and the wild unpredictability of life in the South. The laughs, the lessons, the love. That's all still there. And more than ever, the family leans into the values Phil taught them: hard work, humility, and honoring God above all. You feel him in every episode, not just in memories, but in the way the family moves forward, with reverence, with purpose, with the sense that he's still guiding them, even from beyond. Phil Robertson may be gone, but his legacy is far from over. His smile, frozen in that final scene, said everything he couldn't say. A thumbs up to the life he lived, to the family he raised, to the show he made iconic. The revival isn't just a tribute, it's a reminder that even in silence, Phil Robertson had the final word, and it was full steam ahead.